Team Baxter.
So now I'm building the transmission gear case. These are the main shafts with the 26 tooth gear and a 28 tooth gear. I'm also building this little transfer additional gear case with the set of three 32 pitch gears that go in there, and this gets connected to the main gearbox. The gear casing also has a little filler that goes in there to kind of patch up a hole until the 2-speed gets installed. So there's the gear case. Go ahead and get these gears installed in this one and get the gears installed in this other gear case. I've already installed the 3 bearings, 3 on each side, and then the gears go inside, and this gets closed up as well, and it also gets an output piece which gets attached to the dog bone that runs from the center drive line. So go ahead and get these gears installed, and then we get the motor attached to this. One thing a little strange to me that I noticed about the manual is, unless I'm reading this incorrectly or completely missing something, the manual does not instruct you to grease this drivetrain. Not quite sure why not, but I'm going to go ahead and grease all my gears very heavily, like I normally would. If I make a mistake, maybe I'll have to clean them up later, but I do not think I'm making a mistake. Metal on metal gears need some lube going on. So I'm going to go ahead and put my red and tacky in there, just like normal. And that's that. Here's a look at the gear cases before I close them up. That's the little transfer gear case. And here's the transmission. I lubed it up. Maybe I shouldn't have, but it's done. So, close them up and keep on building. The gear case is assembled, and I went ahead and put on the slipper. It's a double-sided slipper. You can see the other side in there. 2 metal slipper pads on each side. And now it gets a spring and a screw to top it off. After that, I'm going to go ahead and install the motor. I'm installing a 3800 kV Castle 4-pole that goes right in there with the motor mount, and then this whole piece gets installed into the truck. So I adjusted the slipper to the manual specifications, and that tightened it all the way down. I don't want the slipper all the way tightened at 6 millimeters like the manual suggests. It is completely tightened, so I tightened it to my own likings. If this is wrong, I'll just adjust it later, but I can't adjust it to 6 millimeters. It kind of made me think I did something wrong, so I've gone back over all the steps and everything's installed correctly. So I got the pinion installed. I could not use the stock pinion. It comes with a 5 millimeter shaft, and my motor does not have a 5 millimeter shaft. It has a 3 millimeter shaft. Went into my own toolbox and pulled out an 18 tooth pinion, which is the closest thing I had to the stock 16 in the 5 millimeter shaft. I'm not quite sure what the difference will be, but my configuration will be running the 18 tooth. Anyway, now it's time to get the gear cover on and get this set down into the chassis. So the motor's installed, and I've got everything secured, all the wires secured down. Nice install, everything's tucked in there really neat. It's going to be really hard to work on this thing. In order to get anything out, you got to remove multiple screws, but we'll deal with that when time comes. Now we're going to move on to start assembling the rest of the chassis components, the battery compartment, the frame and all. So I'm going to set this aside and start working on the frame. Just before I put it aside, I want to say this is a substantial build at this point. You've got all the electronics in here and quite a bit of parts and plastic. Just, it's so heavy and solid there. So it's going to be a pretty big, substantial build. So go ahead and move on to the rear end.